You haven't come on your own this morning, have you? Who have you come with?
No, I haven't. I've come with my wife.
Hello.
Hi, Sharon. And my daughter,
Has she gone through to tell us? Oh, Mia, she is so sweet. So they're welcome here this morning. We're glad you come this morning. So we're going to do, this morning we're going to do more like an interview style. So I'm going to ask Leon some questions and he's going to share with us what he's doing and seeing amongst victims of knife crime on the streets in Croydon, victims of street crime in Croydon. Plus also he's got a musical slant, so we're going to ask about that as well. Brilliant. So Leon,
yes.
You are a vocal supporter of Jesus. You're a very passionate man. Why do you think Jesus is worth following?
Well, I don't think there's one answer, but Jesus literally transformed my whole life. I wasn't brought up in a Christian family per se. My family, I would say, they're superstitious Christians, but my gran, she was like the rock of our family, and I spent a lot of time with my gran. My gran used to live in Balham, and my primary school was in Balham, so after school, I'll go to my grand's house on the weekends.
Very important grands, aren't they?
You gotta love the grands. You gotta love the grands. So yeah, my gran. I didn't realise at the time, but she had a big influence on me. She was a committed Christian. Every morning, literally 6 o'clock, she wouldn't talk to anyone. She'd just go downstairs with her Bible and pray and read. And she just, only thing she would say is, "I'm praying for you." That's what she used to say to me personally. And she was just a generous person. Like, she used to give me pocket money until I was 19. Just little things. She knows how to win a young man's heart. You know, she knows. But she just showed love. Just loved on us and loved on us and on my family. And in the lowest point in my life, the seed that she planted, that's when it started to blossom. So for myself, I grew up in Fort Leaf. I'm a Croydonian, if you want to call it that.
I knew that because I heard it in one of your songs.
Yes. So, I went to a school called Stanley Tech. I don't know if you've heard of it, Stanley Tech for boys. It's now changed to South Northern Academy, or Harris Academy.
They're all called Harris.
Yeah. So I went to that school. My upbringing wasn't the worst upbringing. I had a good upbringing. My mum used to done her best. But there's a transition from you're not a child, but you're not an adult, and you're sort of finding yourself. And to be honest, I didn't know who I was, and I started to do things that I shouldn't have done, antisocial behaviour, things like graffiti. But I just like art, really. Behind it was I like art, but I did it in a negative way. And then that led me to hang out with different people, and it was all about reputation. And and it still happens now. The cycle of violence and gang culture is the same, really, but it just looks different. But there's like different rivalries in different areas. So I was from Fort Heath. We had an issue with people from the South Norwood area, and literally was over nothing. Back in the day, there was a thing called MSN. Have any of you heard of MSN Messenger? You heard of that?
Even I've heard of that, and I'm
That's
very good at
like
technology.
before Facebook, before MSN Messenger was the thing. That was it. After school, come home, MSN Messenger. That was it. Literally, there was an issue, little issue, nothing. It was literally nothing over MSN Messenger with another group from another area. Then they saw one of my friends. And he was in the area, they tried something, and then, pride kicks in, you try to with my friends, then we see you, and then, just literally tit for tat. Then, in May 2005, my friends were at a barbecue in South Norwood. Are you familiar with Davison Road? Yeah. So you got, Davison Road, and there's it's Christie Drive, and then there's another road called Toll Pathway, and there was at a barbecue in that area, and the people that I probably my friends, or with me and my friends, they found out that my friends were in the area, so they came, and then one of my other friends came, and he came with a bike and tried to kick him off, and then that, pride again kicks in, and he disrespects my friend, so a big fight kicked off, and there was a few of the other people, and then cars pulled up, there were gunshots. It was, it went from 0 to 100 very quickly. And a few of my friends ran. And one of my friends, he didn't run. I don't know why to this day, but he stayed there. They beat him to death. I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, but it was very brutal. And for me, I wasn't there at the time. I feel that because I'm normally because it was my best friend, so normally whenever anything's happening, I'm normally there. So even that is, I see God God in His providence. There's a reason why I wasn't there. That brought bitterness in my heart. That brought unforgiveness. Naturally, I wanted to get revenge, and just in myself, I just felt empty. I just felt angry, and I had other issues, and just felt like no one understood me really. And then from that, at my friend's funeral, his dad came to me and said, "Leon, I don't want you to end up like my son." And he basically mentored me. And encouraged me, because around that time I was doing my GCSEs. And because of that, I wasn't mentally, my mental health wasn't the best at the time. I wouldn't acknowledge it. I didn't get any counsel at the time, but looking back, my mental health wasn't at the best place. So I wasn't at a place. I wasn't even open enough to say I've got an issue. So I didn't do the best in my GCSEs. But someone saw something in me and said, "Like, I wanna show love to you. I want the best for you." And he helped me to get into college, and then from that I went to university. And he set up a youth club with all of my friends, and all my other friends, they were going through their own issues. And around that time, a lot of people were turning to Islam. So a majority of my friends turned to Islam, and they were influencing me to go to the mosque. But because, going back to the start, I was talking about my gran, the seed that she sowed, it's something that didn't sit right. Because I saw my gran's faith active, and then something else was proposed to me, and I went to the mosque. I sort of sat outside where they take off their shoes, and I contemplated, and I researched. To be honest, I researched about Islam before I became a Christian, and one of my friends is funny enough in school, like from year 7 to year 11, was like one of my good friends, and he was a Christian. But he wasn't his faith was in action, let's put it like that. And but when the thing happened with my friend, it started to make him think about life a bit more seriously. He took his faith serious, and again, God in His providence, I don't know how He set that up, where he was someone that I trusted, and he encouraged me to go to church. I said no many times, and then eventually I said, "Yeah, I'm going to come." When I came, I felt the presence of the Lord, and there was good people. The same way my friend's dad got his hands around me and helped me to get back into education. He helped me to become a youth worker. He's one of the reasons why I'm doing the work I'm doing today. My friend and my gran, they had a contribution in terms of my faith journey and me being the person I am today. And going back to your question about Jesus, like what He's done is literally me being discipled and learning about the gospel. It wasn't a thing where, I know Jesus now, I'm saved, and that's it, I've made it. It wasn't that. It's literally the gospel, like what He did. I've literally transformed my life socially, mentally, my friendship circles, and even like learning about Islam is that it was all about, a lot about performance. And even like when I go to work, even now, a lot of it's based on performance. And there's no place for you to do anything wrong. But learning about Jesus, and regardless of what we've done, He pursued us, He loved us with a unconditional, unfailing love. That's what really transformed my heart. That's what compelled me to forgive the people that murdered my friends. That's what it's changed my attitude to the way that I treat my wife. And it's not based on performance. I'm right, you're wrong. It's literally every area of my life. It's because of the gospel. It's literally, I'm repeating myself, but it's not, the gospel's not something that you graduate from. It's like, I know the gospel now, and I just live my life. It's literally, the righteous live by faith. That's the core. And a verse comes to mind in Hebrews chapter 6, Before that, it's talking about, I have to teach you again. We're talking about milk and meat, and it basically says you need milk again because you're not practicing the elementary truths of the gospel. And then in chapter 6, it talks about, therefore, basically it talks about, I'm paraphrasing, but it talks about the elementary truths of the gospel. And the first thing it says is moving from dead works towards faith in God. And for me, that's the rock. That's what drives me in what I do in my youth work and everything I do. It's moving from dead works. And when I became a Christian, again, it's God in His providence. A lot of my friends turned to Islam, but a lot of my friends turned to faith in Jesus Christ. Well, individually, God did a work in them, and we came together, and just groups of friends, we confessed our sins to each other, and it was just the openness, and it's only because of Jesus that we was able to be open and be humble, and yeah, it's that foundation that's kept me and allowed me to be here today.
That's amazing. Jesus is amazing, isn't He? So transformative. Thank you for sharing that. That's really inspiring. So you're talking about you now are a youth worker.
Yes.
And you work with young men who are victims of street crime.
Yes.
Could you help us to understand their world? We heard a little bit about the world from your story.
Yes.
Help us to understand their world and what's going on there.
Yeah, so I mean, just to give a bit background as well about what I do, I work in St George's Hospital for a charity called Red Thread in partnership with the NHS, and we have anyone that's been affected by violence, whether it's stabbing, shootings, any sort of violence, any young person between the age of 11 and 24, and we do an assessment, and we have like a holistic approach. And what I've found is there's always first and foremost, in terms of victims, there's a myth that if you're a victim of knife crime or whatever, then you must be involved in a gang. That's not necessarily true. Again, sometimes you can get caught up in things just based on your area, or someone can try and rob you and you resist, and based on that you can become a victim of violence, sadly. But there are sadly some people who are also victims of violence because they are involved in a gang lifestyle. So there's
it's quite mixed.
Yeah,
the young people you work with.
Every case is quite complex. There's not this one.
Very complex.
Yeah. So but what I've found is I'll give you an example. I can't say names because of confidential, etc. There's a young man that I've done intensive work with, and he came from Africa. He came to England, not by choice. His nan, he lived with his nan, but his nan wasn't able to look after him. He came to live with his mum. There was a breakdown in the relationship. From that, he wasn't allowed to stay there. Within that time, he got stabbed. Then he went to live with his auntie. He came home late, as some young people do. Within that time, he committed several robberies. And just on the surface, you could look at that and think, he's not a good kid, he's not doing a lot of things. But sometimes you can look at the smoke. Let's say, just think about a car, for example. You can look at the smoke. But the problem's not the smoke, the problem's with the engine or something in the car. And a lot of times we focus on the smoke and, he's robbed many people, or he's done this, or he's done that. But really, what's underneath all of that? And just that example alone, we can see that he's been robbed. Like he had a good upbringing, but he didn't choose to leave Ghana, but that was taken from him. Then he had a bad relationship with his mum, robbed again, situation with his auntie, he was robbed again. And then we see him robbing other people several times. And it's
playing out the pain that's going on.
There's a saying like, hurt people. So for me, it's when I do my work, it's because I get
it's excited.
I know, I'm very expressive with my hands. I talk with my hands, let me put my hands down.
No, don't. Water down and use your hands.
That's it. But for me, when I do my work, I try to be very curious. It's really important to be curious and to look under the surface. So that's an example. A lot of young people have attachment issues. I've found that. And for me, it's doing long-term work. With that young person, I'm sort of the only person that's got a consistent relationship with that young person. And it's through my relationship, I was able to rebuild the relationship with his mum. So what I did is, I built a relationship with his mum, I built a relationship with him, And through that, I was able to get them both to agree to have like family mediation, and the relationship's getting better, thankfully. And it's through me looking, not just looking on the surface and making a judgment, but being curious, looking underneath and seeing what the issues are. Like for me, one thing that helped me was one of my uncles who owned a decorating shop. He saw that I was doing things I shouldn't be doing. He said, you know what, work at my shop. That gave me a bit of stability. And then from that, it raised my aspirations to do for myself. Like, oh, I can work hard in a good way, and I can save money, and I can do these things that are productive, and look what it's doing for me. And then from that, it built my resilience, it built, my confidence, and then from that, I did youth work and etc. So it's just, there's always something missing. There's always something missing. Once you explore it, it's either there's a relationship or attachment or how they view themselves. Like for me, I spoke about my identity. There's always something missing, and for me, that's what, in terms of my work, that's what I found with the young people, and as well in the media as well. It's they don't, like for me, I believe that like street-based violence or violence in general it's a mental health issue. There's a mental health problem. Public health issue, should I say? And it's, if we think about self-harm, we would, like for example, someone, I don't know, slit their wrist or they're self-harming in whatever form it is, we would say, oh, they've got mental health issues. But if someone sort of stabs someone else, we don't think mental health, we think, oh, gangs, or we think, because that's what's portrayed in the media most times. Oh, another stabbing, another this, oh, gangs in Croydon, gangs in this or that. But I don't see the curiosity within the media. I don't see people looking under the surface like, why is this happening? Why is this? I read something the other day about a murder, and it reported it. It said about gangs in Croydon is rising, whatever. But from me doing a bit more research, it happened outside the person's house, and you know what I mean. The person came to do something to them, and you know what I mean. There's no excuse for what the person done, but the media doesn't portray the full story.
It's more complicated, isn't it?
It's more than just gangs, this, that. And for me, it's important for us to be more curious, to know, and even treat others how you want to be treated. Jesus, that's the message that Jesus taught us. We want people to be curious. We want people to know us and to get to know us for who we really are. It's important for the church for us to love on people, to get to know people, to build relationships. Just as Jesus did, he associated with people that, oh, why are you associating with them? No, because my love is genuine. I'm impartial, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whatever your status is, I'm impartial. I am love, so I'm going to show love to you. And it's important for us in the church, the community, for us to be more curious, rather than to put shame on our young people, is to put love on our young people. The Bible says that we should put on ourselves, we should put on love, we should put on compassion, but we have to also put it on other people as well. And I think that's something that I don't see a lot. And to be honest, love is the answer. Love, that's what wooed my heart. That's what compels me to worship Jesus. It's the love. He's sanctifying me. He's continually loving me. That's what's transforming me now, and that's what our young people need. But that's what's missing.
And the Lord uses us, doesn't he?
Yes, exactly. He does.
Question. So we're talking about, the media portrays violence with young people like this, and we're looking at the issues underneath and loving them. And a lot of your story, your personal story, and what you're saying about the world of these young people, is that adults coming alongside. That's what you're saying. Adults coming alongside, listening, loving, and spending time mentoring. Now, some of us might think, but what do I say to a young? Now, I'm not cool, I'm not hip. What do I say to a young person? Do you have any tips or any kind of, what should someone do if they really want to show this love, but they just feel a bit unconfident in what do I say?
Yeah, I mean, everything we have to is, again, we're talking about works, moving from dead works. It's not about us, our status, or us being something. It's not about that. It's not about our performance. And it's just about us just showing genuine love. that's a characteristic of a Christian, just showing genuine love. And it's, for me, it's my friend's dad. He's not cool. I have a desire, like, you know, I give a lot, but I have a desire to receive. You know, as young people, young men, young women, whoever it is, you have a desire to receive. No matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what your colour is, your race, whatever it is. It just shows genuine love. And that's for me. When I do my work, it's just the underline is that I'm here because I care about you. For me, that's it. As long as your intention is I care about you, I'm not trying to get anything out of you. I'm not trying to receive anything. I'm just here because I care about you. For me, if that's your intention, then for me you can't go wrong. I mean, sometimes, because a lot of the young people I work with, they have trust issues. They are literally living in a fight or flight state. So it's fight, flight. They call it fight, freeze. Or flight, yeah. So there's one thing to have that in a moment, but some of my young people live in that consistently. So they're literally living in trauma, so initially they might not be receptive, but you just have to acknowledge that again by looking under the surface. It's not because you've done anything wrong. It's just because there's the inward issues that they're dealing with. And for me, with the young people I work with, as I've shown that I care, and I've been a caring person in their life consistently, and I've shown it with my words, I've shown it with my actions, with my intent, then naturally their hearts are going to melt. And you know, the Bible talks about the older women teaching the younger women, the older men teaching younger women. It's all men. Yeah, the younger women. Yes, thank you. It's all there. God has already given us the instructions, and it's just for us to walk in that and live out the commandments of God.
Yeah, so as a church, we want to see the kingdom of God breaking through in these young people's lives. I'm going to ask about your music in a minute. I'll switch the questions around. What kind of things can we be praying as a community for Croydon, for Thornton Heath, for young people who are victims of street crime and young people who might be involved in it? What kind of things? Do you have any advice?
Well, about the things that I've mentioned, but also it's because for me, what I found with my work, I've not found a lot of Christian organisations that I can refer young people to regarding like mentoring or just activities they can do a lot in terms of, because before I worked at St George's Hospital, I worked for Croydon Council and I worked at a youth club, and some of the youth clubs were shut down and things happened, but I found there are services. I can't say there aren't services, but in terms of the church and there's Christian,
in terms of meeting the kingdom of God being able to break through openly.
Yes, I've not seen, or there's not a lot of organisations that I know that I'll say are credible that I can refer young people to. So it's praying that these things will appear. God will put these things, God will put this on people's hearts. And it's just also we have to pray for ourselves. You know, sometimes we always point the finger, but we don't.
Someone else should do it. Maybe God's saying.
We don't. Sometimes we have to be reflective, to look at ourselves and say, like, God, what can I do? What can I do? Like, I know you haven't given me the spirit of fear. I know that your grace is with me. I know that I'm a child of God. I know who I am in Christ. I'm justified. I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and laid down his life for me. What can I do? What can I do to help these young people? I don't want to be passive. I don't want to just see young people and just walk past. I want to be compassionate because God has shown compassion to me. So how can I show compassion to these young people? And it's just praying that God will give us wisdom on how to reach out to these young people, because we all are God. God is a reason why I'm here today. There's a reason why we're all hearing this message, and God wants to use us all. None of us are like, God doesn't want to use you. Sorry, you're not good enough. Sorry, but God wants to use you. That's what we keep saying. Yeah, that's not the situation. God wants to use us all. We're all valuable. We're all special, and we all can bring something different to contribute to the work of God. So it's just, God, how can you use me? And it's like, if there's someone, because sometimes, you know, like when the Holy Spirit came and the commission was to start in Jerusalem, then go to Samaria, then to go to the uttermost parts of the world. It's like, okay, so starting at home, is there anybody that I know, or anybody that, or maybe I might have a relationship with this parent and their child is in a bit of a situation, or is anyone that I personally have a relationship with that they're not in the best place? Maybe I can be a bit more curious with what they're going through. Maybe I can build a better relationship with them. Maybe I can disciple them, because Jesus said that go and make disciples, teach them my commandments, teach them what I've taught you, and baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. So how can I live out the Great Commission with what's within my hands, with the things that I have? So that should be our prayer.
That's really helpful. Yeah. So I've invited you up here. I've called you Leon Spence.
Yes.
Some of us might know you as Leon Anthony, UK.
Ooh, confusion.
And obviously the Lord has done stuff in your life, and that has brought you to youth work and to working with those young men, and that's obviously like a passion for you, that you are pouring out your healing now into others. But you've got this other aspect in your life as well, is music.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about the roots of that, and then also what's going on in terms of how the Lord's that side of your personality as well.
Well, I don't have the traditional story. Well, from young, my family is musicians, and but people around me, I went to school with a guy called Stormzy. Stormzy went to my school, and a lot of my friends, I used to hang with a guy called Croydon, and a lot of my guys used to go to
They just opened a crepes and cones.
in South Croydon, So people around me always used to rap. Also, when I went to college, I don't want to just write names, but we used to have, have you ever confused ODG?
Some people have.
We used to go to in our college, and basically I used to be the guy that used to be the introduction guy, so I'd be like, big up this guy, big up this, but I didn't used to rap. They used to come and write some lyrics. And then eventually I just started writing lyrics, and then everyone they gassed me up, so they sort of got excited. Oh yeah, that's good, yeah. And then from that I kept writing. I was in a gospel rap group as well, called Gospel Tugs. And that was it when I first became a Christian. Very raw, passionate, zealous. And then naturally from that, well actually I stopped rapping for a few years. But then me and my wife, my wife went to Ghana before we got married, and then I went with one of my friends, and then when we got married, you talk about your plans and how you want to move forwards. We both went out there to do some research to see how we can help the nation of Ghana. And then we set up a charity called Sow a Seed to build a home out there to provide adoption for abandoned children. And from that I became motivated to rap again. For the Lord, but also to raise funds for the work that we're doing in Ghana. So that's sort of what geared me into being a rapper again. And my full name is Leon Anthony Spence. So Leon Anthony sounded good. So I just went with that, and that was it really. And
Well, I love it. So my youngest son, who's 5, loves your album.
Thank you.
Because Leon was part of our music night at Christmas, and you handed out some free CDs. Little did you know that it was going to be played in my car non-stop, day after day. And when I was listening to it, I was just thinking that your theology comes across so beautifully through the medium of rap. I was just wondering, how does a process of a rap come about? Do you spend time in prayer? Do you read the Bible? Because it gets across not only music often expresses our feelings, so some of your story and how you feel comes through, but also the eloquence of being able to, it's almost like poetry, isn't it? But share theology so that people will also hear the gospel and hear about Jesus as they're listening. Yeah. So what's the process of that? How does that
it's just, like I was saying, through me learning about Jesus, through me living by faith, through me understanding who Jesus is for myself. Literally just in my time of worship, I might get convicted by a line, and I just just write it down, and then it just all comes together really. So it's a lot of it just from my own devotion time with God, me studying, who God is for myself. And yeah, just being fascinated about Jesus. I mean, with that song, He's the Lamb, it's like He's fully God, fully man. Literally, the verse, it says that He sympathizes with us in our weakness. I'm paraphrasing, with us in our weaknesses. Even though He didn't sin, but He was tempted just like us. And it's just seeing like Him, like it says that at one point He had no place to rest. Like He was homeless. Like there's people like I see that are homeless. Like think about his cousin John the Baptist. You know, we talk about knife crime. His cousin, his cousin was involved in knife crime. Yeah, think about it like that. You know, John the Baptist. You know, yeah. So he understands. He relates. He wept. Like he went through grief. You know what I mean? He like literally everything that we see. Like he can literally sympathize. And even in that, is sometimes we think, how do I sort of share my faith or share the gospel? Is literally what you're going through. Like Jesus actually, like he understands more than you think. Look, He went through that. He went through bereavement. He's experienced loss. I think about even like I was thinking the other day. When Jesus was crucified, where was His dad? Where was Joseph? I don't know what happened. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's where like He relates to us more than we can grasp, more than we can think. But at the same time, even like reading the book of John, He's God. Like he humbled Himself, but He is God. And when He comes back, it's going to be glory and power. And the same God that raised Christ from the dead lives in us. And just seeing like He can relate to us, but at the same time He's our Lord. And it's just, you know, Jesus is just so amazing.
It's just, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's just, for me, it's like, for me to even understand who Jesus is led by the Spirit. You know, it's for me, it's not something, I didn't go out of my way to pursue Jesus. He came for me and I just submitted and said, God, let your will be done, you know? So it's, even me talking now, just thinking, wow, you're so amazing. And for me, that's just how the lyrics come, really. I just talk about my life, I talk about my relationships. It's just my life, really. For me, that's what discipleship is, you know? It's just sharing your life with people and then them seeing your good works and giving glory to our Father, you know? That's what it's about, really. So yeah.
That's great, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this morning. So, we heard about how Jesus was pursuing Leon in his life, and I think Jesus has already pursued some of us here, and He's pursuing others this morning as well. And we'd love to just give Him a chance to speak. We're in a church where I believe Jesus can speak, does speak, and wants to speak this morning. So if we could